When we're multiplying and dividing, we still need to find factors so that we can state restrictions and also find our times and divide factors, which we can cancel out. So the first thing we're going to do is factor. And when we factor, we always look for greatest common factors first. So we have 2x cubed plus 6x squared minus 20x. There's a greatest common factor of 2x. I need to make sure I take that out first. And I'm left with a quadratic that is factorable. Here I need to take out the greatest common factor of 6. There's common factors between the 2 and the 6, which I will simplify later on. And I'm left with a difference of squares. Here I'm just going to factor, since these are quadratics. Two numbers that multiply to 8 and add to 6 are 2 and 4. Two numbers that multiply to 6 and add to negative 5 are negative 2 and negative 3. So what we're going to end up doing is factoring that quadratic. So before that, I'm going to simplify this fraction. So we're going to end up 2 over 3. 2 over 6 becomes 1 over 3. The factor of x has no common factor in the denominator. The numerator is going to be x plus 5, x minus 2. The denominator factors to x plus 2, x minus 2. And this is already factored. Since this is all times and divide, really we're just talking about one big fraction. So any factor on top, since it's all connected by multiplication, we can cancel it with any factors on the bottom, which are divide. So I want to state my restrictions. So anytime I divide by 0, so negative 2 is going to make that 0, positive 2, positive 2, positive 3. So I've stated my restrictions. Once I state my restrictions, I can start canceling times with divide. So I have a times here, divide here. Now it doesn't matter if I cancel these two or these two, as long as one cancels out the other. I have a times x plus 2, divide by x plus 2. And it looks like that's all the canceling that will happen. So what's left then in the numerator is a times x plus 5, a times x plus 4. I've got to divide by 3, divide by x minus 2, divide by x minus 3. And I'm going to keep this all in factored form because I can see that there are no common factors that will cancel out. So I've got it in its simplest form. So there's my final answer for that. For this one here, we can see that we have an extra divide by x plus 3 here and here. And I can simplify by getting rid of that divide on the numerator and the divide in the denominator with the multiplication by the same factor in both the numerator and denominator. And before I cancel, I need to make sure I state some restrictions. So I'm going to cancel the x plus 3. So I need to first make sure I state my x is not equal to negative 3. And then I can go ahead and get rid of the divide x plus 3 with a times by x plus 3. And I'm going to balance this ratio with a times by x plus 3 in the denominator. So that ratio, balancing the ratio, keeps it the same fraction. The times in the numerator will cancel with this times in the denominator. The times here in the denominator, the numerator of the denominator, will cancel with this divide here. Now we just have to be careful when we multiply this because we have to make sure that every term gets multiplied. So here I'm going to have to make sure I distribute x minus 3 to x plus 3. So I end up with a difference of squares, x squared minus 9. And we have to make sure that we multiply out this part correctly. There's a plus there. The plus 3, x plus 3s and x plus 3s, they cancel out. And I'm left with an x in 8x. Okay, and I don't have an x plus 3 anymore on the last term because they cancel. In the denominator, I need to distribute that out. So I end up with x squared minus 3x, and there's a minus there. And now I'm going to multiply this fraction with this x plus 3. Well, I have a divide x plus 3 times x plus 3. They cancel out. The only thing left is a minus 4. So now I need to rearrange this because I'm going to end up with a factorable quadratic in the numerator, and I have a factorable quadratic in the denominator. I'm going to rewrite this first. X squared plus 8x minus 9. X squared minus 3x minus 4. I'm going to factor plus 9 minus 1. And in the denominator, I think I made a mistake here. X plus 3 times x should not be x squared minus 3. It should be x squared plus 3. So I made a mistake there. So better correct that. So now, looking in the denominator, it's x squared plus 3x minus 4, not minus 3x. It should be plus 3x minus 4. So two numbers that multiply to negative 4 add to positive 3. We're going to end up with x plus 4, x minus 1. I can now state my restrictions. Negative 4, positive 1. Make sure you state restrictions before you cancel. They have to be stated before we cancel these factors. And so there's my final answer. I end up with x plus 9 over x plus 4. So that's my simplified fraction when I started off with this complex fraction here. And I just have to make sure I keep my restrictions.